Hello, my magical friend. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for visiting me today. Today we're going to talk about how to know if a deity has chosen you. Are you the chosen one, boo-boo? Are we chosen? Well, a chosen one, not the chosen one, but I mean, maybe you are the chosen one. I don't know. This is a very flexible, open space community situation we got going on here. So anyone is welcome, whether you're new, pagan, postmodern pagan, reconstructionist, whatever is your situation. Maybe just a new age starseed and you just want to hang out. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Lots of love and light, boo-boo. Has a deity chosen you? How to know? What is the process? I know a lot of people ask themselves this question. So there's two types of deities people usually want to know if they've been chosen by. So a lot of people call this a patron deity or deities. So, you know, this is like your main daddy, mommy, anyone in between, you know, like your godfather, god mommy, anyone in between, you know, like your main people. For some people, it's two deities. For some people, it's one. For some people, it's more. It's like, you know, it's like that one, you know, that one and only that's been with you for a long time, or maybe a group. For other people, it will be different deities throughout their life. So, you know, they're asking themselves, did someone choose them to work with them for a particular purpose? The slant of this video is going to be towards that kind of patron feel. So your daddy, mommy, your soul tribe of deities, who are your guides, who are the people who have been with you for a long time, who is around you basically. But this can be extrapolated, I believe, to deities that come in and out of your life, people, maybe deities, who maybe are not in the inner circle, but in the periphery of your life. So I think what I'm going to be talking about does apply to both, although the feel to this is going to probably be deities that are just in your circle. There's different gradations to this. So as usual with esoteric, magical, pagan stuff, take everything with a grain of salt. Your own personal knowing and practice is the thing that you should be following. My opinion is just an opinion, and the same applies to everyone else out there, boo-boo. So let's get into it. I do have experience with this, and I'm going to propose that if you, for example, if you're a practitioner, whether you're new to the practice, to the craft, or to whatever you're doing, if you're new, you want to find out who is your daddy or mommy. Or if you just want to find out, maybe there's someone who has, like, you know, a propensity for you, like maybe someone, you know, has a certain taste among the pantheons who might look upon you favorably. There's what I call my retroactive biographical method for finding out who those deities might be. And I feel like it works really well. It definitely has worked for me. And I am someone who's coming from a place where I always knew who my deities were. That was never a question to me. They've made themselves known to me throughout my life, and I did connect to them, I feel, at a very early age. So I know, I have an inner knowing that I was in fact chosen by very specific deities throughout my life, and these deities, these presences, have been appearing in my life throughout, sometimes under different guises, under different names, but they're a recurring theme in my life. In my postmodern pagan life, I don't identify as a neo-pagan, I identify as a postmodern pagan. That's a whole other story. So I have some notes. I prepared notes, boo-boo. So we're just going to go through some of these ways to know if a deity has chosen you, if they might be your patron, your mom, your daddy. Okay, I forgot to mention this for some reason. These are the less obvious signs. So if this is for people, maybe someone has already appeared to you, a deity has appeared to you, and you just want confirmation, and this is correct. Or for those who maybe the signs have not been obvious, you did not get a lightning strike out of the sky, Zeus did not appear to you before you in the bathroom at 4 o'clock in the morning, this is for you guys. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that completely. So this is just the less common, less obvious ways to find out your deity. So the number one way is to look at your talents. So in this biographical retroactive method, we're looking at the things that we already carry within ourselves that might be attracting certain deities, certain presences to us. Or maybe we have talents that, there's two ways of looking at it. Maybe it's talents we have that attracted a certain deity, or maybe a certain deity took a liking to you and bestowed those talents upon you, whether you see deity as archetypes, parts of ourselves, or whether you see deity as sentient beings that do things and have action. whatever floats your boat. I personally see them as both. But yeah, the first one is your talents. What is it that you're really good at? And what is it that you're attracted to and drawn to? And I don't just mean, this is really important. I think that's really important to note. It's not the things you like doing that maybe, you're not that good at. So I love dancing. I'm terrible at dancing. I have no coordination. I don't think the God of dance chose me. So, oh, by the way, just as an example, I'm going to go through these ways of knowing who the deity is, and I'm going to give you examples from my life and how that extrapolates to my life and how I found my deity. As one example, I'm going to give you the god Hermes, the messenger of the gods. He comes from the ancient Greek pantheon, and that is how I knew. A lot of these methods apply to how I would have known that Hermes was my daddy, one of my daddies. So yeah, look at your talents. What are you actually good at? Not just the things you enjoy doing, because definitely the god of dance is not my mommy, daddy, or anyone in between. Not going to happen. I do not belong to that soul tribe. But one thing I was always good at from a child was communication. I could speak before I could walk. I used to freak people out. I was like a tiny baby. I would speak in like complete sentences. It was creepy. Hermes is the god of communication. He is a messenger, the ultimate messenger. So definitely that was a sign. I have that talent. I also have an ability to go between different worlds. I kind of live in a liminal space, if you like. I have backgrounds in psychology and performance, in art, in scholarly pursuits, and in this kind of esoteric practice, pagan practice, if you like. So I'm definitely someone who's always lived on the borderlines of the arts and the sciences. So I am a little bit of a go-between, and this is very much Hermes energy. He is a liminal god, one of the gods of the crossroads. So this is a connection that I can extrapolate from my natural abilities or natural propensities into what this god represents. So whatever your case is, you can extrapolate your talents into this. If your talent is song, if it's acting, if it's drawing, if it's making YouTube videos, if it's science, whatever it is, this is a clue as to what kinds of deities are going to be around you, because I strongly feel that this is a two-way street. So whatever it is, whatever energy you're putting out there, whatever things are kind of natural to you, inherent within you, there is an essence here that will find a correspondence in the word of deity. And I feel like deities do flock to you. They choose us, and they do sometimes choose us as their favorite. So, you may feel like you have more of a relationship with a specific deity or god because you were favored by them. And you have a specific talent because you were favored by them. At least in, traditional beliefs and religions, that was always the belief. Someone with a specific talent had, you were favored by a god, or you were favored by, a specific presence or deity. So look at your talents, because that will be your connection to a specific god. Number two is your life path. So this is, more autobiographical. If you're super small and young, this may not be that relevant, but it can still apply. So this is the life path that you chose, or in fact that chose you. Maybe there's been specific circumstances or synchronicities in your life where you just went down a certain path. Maybe it was the studies you chose. Maybe it was the type of life you've been leading so far. Maybe it's kinds of relationships you've been through. Think about your life as a movie. What is the theme of the movie? Is it a comedy of errors? Is it a beautiful adventure film? Is it, an unfinished symphony? What is the theme? What are the leitmotifs of your life? And those leitmotifs, those themes may very well be extrapolated to an essence of a specific deity or a god, or it can give you a clue as to where to look for it. And again, so in my case, my life path has been very much like, there's been a lot of interesting things happening in my life, definitely a comedy of errors. But it's been a kind of search and an exploration of the soul. So the god Hermes is also one of the gods in the Greek pantheon who is a psychopomp. He is someone who is a go-between between the world of the living and the world of the dead. He goes beyond the veil and comes back into the world of the living. He is someone who also transfers souls, takes the soul into Hades when it is their time. He is a guardian of the soul, a messenger of the soul, and all of the things that I've ever done in my life, even though they seem very different. I've done acting, I'm a tarot reader. I do a lot of things, but the main theme is it's always an exploration of the soul. There is that is my role as psychologist, as someone interested in various types of psychoanalysis and writing and history. The search for me always has been the human psyche. So in that sense, my journey has been very varied and interesting, and I've lived in many different places. Also another clue as to being a liminal kind of person, just like Hermes. But my main journey was the journey of the soul, and that is the Hermes journey. So that's telling me something about, it's a confirmation for me that one of my daddies is definitely Hermes. And for you, whatever your life path was, and, sometimes we do things by chance as well. I have to say this. So maybe you always wanted to do one thing, but ended up taking a different route because of circumstance, because of fate, a lot, especially fated events or things you weren't expecting would happen in your life. Maybe you wanted to do psychology in college and you ended up doing, I don't know, cinema studies for whatever reasons, comedy of errors. That will give you a clue as to who was calling you to them. What is kind of driving the wheel of fortune here in your case. So that might be relevant to you. Maybe you need to connect with the muses, the cinema muse, who knows. But that will be, it will be a running theme, whatever that story is for you. So number 3 is very much related to this, but it's a little bit more personal, a little bit more individualized, and that is what I would call your essence or your soul or your personality. Are you someone who is attracted to the darker things in life? Are you just one of those people who love sad songs and sad feels? Are you an introvert or are you an extrovert who loves to be showy and to be seen? All of those things, all of those parts and fragments of your personality will have a correspondence in the world of deities. And I do honestly feel that the deities who come to us and who choose us do so because there is something about us, something about you, your natural propensities that makes them happy, that brings them joy, that makes them smile. So if you're a brooding, silent introvert, that is the type of deity that you will be attracting. That is the kind of deity who will be feeling responsible for you, or in some ways feeling like, they like to be around you and they want to bestow something upon you. So that is something to look into. And again, for me and God Hermes, I'm definitely someone who, just like Hermes, I kind of flitter in and out of different worlds. I'm known as different things. People know me by different names. I can be a little bit elusive. The god Hermes is someone who oscillates between again, this psychopomp who travels into the underworld, but at the same time, he is the king of thieves and a bit of a trickster and likes to do funny stuff. And one of the things I do is comedy. So I'm definitely, in terms of my personality, my essence is that of a bringer of something, bringer of news, messages, but also someone who fleets in and out between the worlds. So, take that as it works for you in your life. You cannot go wrong, by the way. I know a lot of these signs and signposts are a little bit general. They're just, they're meant to be general because your gut feeling is going to be the main thing that you want to rely on. And, if let's say your personality is introverted and quiet, you Google those keywords, boo-boo. Google those keywords, see what comes up, and if there's a feeling, if there's a vibration there, if there's a knowing, that's your deity, boo-boo. And then you'll explore it a little bit more. So number 4 is a little bit more serious. This is more serious. This one is foolproof in my experience. I'm only speaking from experience. What is your trauma? So trigger warning, if you have trauma in your life, you don't think about it, this is probably the time to click away. But if you had formative experiences that were traumatic, or experiences in your childhood, early adulthood, teenagehood that were not so nice, experiences that made you unhappy, sad, unsafe, were there times, maybe there have been times in your life, and particularly in childhood, I think that's really important, because I think a lot of deities do come to us when we're small and in need. If there was a time when you felt helpless, when you called out for help, maybe you called out for God or gods, you know, whatever, or someone, and there was no one there to hear you, and it doesn't have to be literal, but like, you know, in your heart, in your mind, it could have been a formative experience when you were younger. It doesn't have to be childhood, but it's definitely very strong then. Think about what trauma you went through, what traumas, what separations, what unhappiness you've been through. What was the source of your unhappiness? There is probably a God for that. So by this, I mean, a lot of deities, they do come to you in times when injustice is being done to you. Most deities don't like injustice. They don't like people behaving badly. They look down upon it, and they will side with the underdog. So, for example, let's say your trauma was that you were bullied at school, and someone was like, people were really, let's say you were being bullied at school because people are calling you fat, okay, for example. I'm just speaking from experience here. Let's say, you know, you're bullied at school, people are calling you fat, and that was like a horrible trauma for you, and you felt alone. I have a feeling, and this is only my theory, but I have a feeling there is a deity around you. I feel like people who've been through sad things and trauma, especially when they were helpless and there's no one to help them, I think there's deities around you for sure. And you have been chosen by more than one because they really, really don't like that kind of behavior in humans. So, you know, look at the stories. This is where you get into the mythos and the stories of different deities. If there's no one that comes to mind, just using the fat kid example for now. You know, is there a deity who maybe is known for their voluptuous shape, or is known for, you know, something related to being a little bit bigger, or their size, or something like that? That might be a deity who understands and relates to you. Is there a deity who takes care of children, who is interested in the welfare and the well-being of children? That deity will come to you. That deity is probably already with you since that trauma occurred. What else can I say? Yeah, so yeah, just think about, you know, their narratives. Or let's say you had an accident when you were a kid and you had to spend a long time at home recovering. You were all alone and it wasn't fun. There's probably a deity with a storyline where they had an accident, or they had a fall, or something happened to them to prevent them from progress in some way. So think of it in that way. Think about the essence of your trauma. What was your trauma really about? Was it abandonment? Was it rejection? Was it people making fun of you? Was it a lot of those different things? When did it happen? Different deities take care of different types of people. If it's to do with formative experiences in romance, maybe there's a deity that takes care of wronged women, men, anyone in between. You will find them, because they're already with you. I truly believe that. And there is more, I feel like, especially for trauma, things that were not so nice for you, I feel it's always more than one deity. Another related one, number 5, is phobias. So if you have, and don't worry, I'm not going to show any pictures. I know a lot of zoophobias are really triggering. Don't worry, there's no pictures. But I'm just going to say phobias in general. If you have a specific phobia or fear of something, there might be a deity who has a storyline where that thing that you fear, let's say it's heights, maybe there's a deity that fell off a great height. That might be your deity. They will empathize and have compassion for your fear. They may have been with you from the start, actually, because they really, you know, fears can be, and phobias particularly, they're so ingrained and visceral and almost, you know, animalistic. This deity probably has been around with you ever since you first experienced that fear. They probably heard your call. They really get it. They really empathize with it. Or conversely, it could be a deity that has some kind of a dominion over the thing that you fear. So if it's heights, perhaps this deity has the ability to fly, and they are able to help you with your phobia, or they want to help you with your phobia because they have so much expertise in that particular dominion. They're happy to take you under their wing. So take these, as they work in your specific life. I personally have definitely experienced deities who I have an inner knowing came to me because of my traumas and also phobias. I'm not going to name all of them. Hermes is one of them. Hermes is one of them. Specifically came to me as a messenger, also as a go-between with my other mommy and daddy deities. But yeah, that's another story. I don't want to make this all about Hermes. He's just an example. Sorry, Hermes. I am dedicating this video to Hermes, by the way, just to honor him and to say thank you for dealing with me for so long and putting up with me. So that's phobias. So, these are all hints as to who might be around you, who might be helping you. Number 6 is going to be synchronicities, signs, symbols, synchronicities, and numbers. So this is a big one, but this will be one of your keys, and this will be actually interspersed over the different categories I've already mentioned. So what I mean by signs, synchronicities, and numbers is look at the place you were born. What kind of city or place was it? What kind of deity is already attached to that place? Is there a deity attached to that place? Is it the kind of place a specific deity might be attached to? As it turns out, the city I was born in, I didn't know this at the time because I was too small to understand. It actually does have a connection and a resonance to Hermes. I had no clue at the time. I was too small to understand. But yeah, Hermes is actually attached to that city. So another synchronicity or sign might be your birth date, and also your birth chart. Whatever astrology or non-astrology you follow, there might be a clue in terms of your planet placements, what's in your first house, what rules your first house. There might be, this is a natural infinity you will have with that particular deity in the first place. In Western astrology, it is Roman mythology, I guess, because that's the names of the planets, but you can extrapolate that to different traditions that you resonate with more. There will be essences of something there. Also, your birth date, does it correspond to a specific festival for a specific deity over time? The time of year you were born, the time of day, was it the dawn? Did the goddess of dawn bring you into the world, or was it the god of the night? What was going on in the heavens at the time might be a clue to you as well. Might be the place you were born. Again, maybe the name of the hospital. I don't know. Who knows? Numerology, your own name, life path numerology might be relevant. There are certain numbers that are more relatable to certain deities and certain energies than others. And again, it goes back to your essence. So your essence is a person, your personality. What is your life path number? What is your personality number? Which god does that relate to? For me, my birth number, birth date number in I think it's in Pythagorean numerology, but in that kind of numerology, my number is 5. 5 is related to actors, salespeople, commerce, diplomacy, all of the things that Hermes is related to. So it's another confirmation that there is an essence inside of me that Hermes probably enjoys, or in some way did bestow upon me when I was born. Or was there with me, perhaps also in a past life, who knows, if you believe in that kind of stuff. So all of those correspondences will be important. Also, repeating numbers, that's an obvious one. And another one is symbols and symbology. So things that you may not notice straight away, but then they kind of, you remember them over time. So for me, very obvious symbol was the caduceus. So this is the symbol of Hermes. Hermes is the creator of the caduceus, actually. And for me, that symbol has followed me around my whole life for 2 reasons. Number one, because I did end up studying psychology in college, and also because I am someone, I've had quite a few different health issues over my life. I have several chronic conditions that I've struggled with a lot. I have to see the doctor regularly. I've been in and out of doctors' offices for most of my life, and that is the symbol of healing. Modern medicine, Hermes is always showing up for me, not to mention that Hermes and the tradition of Hermes representing Mercury and Quicksilver is, of course, a very important part of Western esotericism and Western alchemy and all of that kind of thing. So it seems like every which way I do see that symbol wherever I go. That is the symbol of Hermes. It's just him saying hi, I guess, but also me following my path and my essence, my natural talent, my natural calling and essence, which is in keeping with what he represents. And finally, number 7 is the most obvious one. I wasn't even going to include it, but I decided to because I think it's fun. This is so obvious. I feel like maybe sometimes we forget this is a thing. Who was your childhood hero, Bibu? Who was your childhood hero? And even if it was like whatever, like whoever it could be, you know, whatever. Who's popular these days? I guess it's not Robin Hood. It was Robin Hood when I was a kid. Whoever's popular. Maybe there's a correspondence in the world of deity to whatever qualities that hero, that superhero represents for you, or that story represents for you, Bibu. Even if it's SpongeBob, I'm sure SpongeBob has a correspondence somewhere. What were you obsessed with as a child? For some of you, a god will have appeared to you regardless through art, through comics, through a TV show. Maybe you don't even remember. Could be in a Disney thing. These deities do appear. They in a lot of pop culture, depending on what kinds of deities you feel drawn to, or maybe there was a specific time period that you were obsessed with as a kid. That is a good way, a good framework to start within when you're thinking about all these kind of essences and synchronicities that come up in your autobiography. So it will be things repeating, certain things you have an affiliation with and for, things that make you happy, things that make you sad. All of those things have probably drawn divinity into your life. I don't know how it goes. I'm not sure if it is that we're born with a certain essence and then deity finds us. Maybe we were always a part of their soul group, and this is how we are born into this life, and these deities were with us when we were born. I'm not sure which one of these it is, but I do know that in your formative years, where I believe that in your formative years, certain deities do attach themselves to you, and they do become what some people call your patrons, what some people maybe call guardians, or whatever word you're using, Bibu. I feel like I feel like all people, you already have divinity around you. If you feel like you don't know who you're connecting to, but you like to know who that one person is, that is a great way to start. And this is not to say that you can't work with other deities. I'm sure that if I call upon the god of dance, I could improve my dancing and we could have some kind of a relationship. I just feel like it would be a toxic relationship, so I don't even try. But I honor and love the god of dance and dance itself. So I hope this makes sense. This is something that a type of knowledge that I've acquired over the years. I wasn't always a kind of publicly practicing postmodern pagan. I'm not even sure if I want to call myself a pagan. I'm still working on that. I'm very kind of in the liminal, you know, I'm very much between the worlds, but I'm definitely a postmodern. I call myself a postmodern sorceress, if that helps anyone. But this is my story. Hermes has been with us today as well, so I would like to thank the god Hermes for allowing me to speak with you. Hermes loves communication, and Hermes would love it if you wanted to like and subscribe, and leave me a comment below. Tell me how you found out who chose you. Do you have a patron deity? Do you find that's important? Is that not important in your practice? Are you still discovering deities you would like to work with? What are some of the things that have been important for you in connecting to your deity? So this is what I have for you today. Take care of yourself. Have a wonderful day, evening, or night, wherever you are, whoever you are. And for now, may the angels protect you, and I'll see you next time.